Hang on 1 sec.
Hey, I'm Brody Brazil, and welcome to Teal Town After Dark.
That's it, boys and girls. Minnesota gets knocked out with a 4-0 loss. Jones bouncing back after letting in 3 of 4 versus Chicago has himself a beautiful shutout. Welcome to Teal Town After Dark. We do this following every single Sharks game. I'm your host, AJ Strong, and Erik up in here. Oh, be a part of that show. Chat with us. We have super chat now, so if you're in the generous donating mood, by all means, help us out. Twitter hashtag TealTownUSA. Follow us on Twitter at TealTownUSA and jump into the chat here on the YouTube show. So with that, let's get into this one.
All right. Sounds good. Good evening, everyone. Alongside AJ Strong, I am Erik, otherwise known as Puckguy around these parts. Let's get at this. So no scoring in the first period, but plenty of action, I would say, AJ.
And you would be wrong. It was, I don't know. It was
no goals, no penalties.
It was reminiscent of the game against Dallas. Little bit of snooze fest. I mean, it wasn't full blown. If I remember correctly, the Dallas game, there was 8 shots total. This one, my notes, there was 13 shots total after one, 8-5 in favor of Minnesota. Just, I don't know, little bit of a snoozer, trying to, I don't know, feel each other out or wake up or something. The thing that got me though is Minnesota almost 70% in the circle in the first period. So it's like, come on, boys, wake up. And to top it all off, the first 3 shots on goal all came from Sharks defensemen. It was Vlasic, EK65, and Burns. So, you know, that it took the Sharks almost 7 minutes before they got their first shot on goals.
Yep.
But, you know, that was driving me nuts. And then they come from defensemen. It's like, what are you guys waiting for?
Right, and especially to have the defenseman there, and just come on, guys. I mean, it is Minnesota. They've been on a good run lately, but they've kind of slowed down too. At the same time, it's like, can we get things moving here? Let's not. I mean, I don't want to say play down to the opponent because they're higher up in the standings, but at the same time, it's like.
They're very middle of the road. Win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 2. Remember, also without Matt Dumba, highest scoring NHL, D-man. So that's obviously a huge component. Could you imagine? We've seen how the Sharks go when Meyer isn't in the lineup. So don't get too crazy. Hey, speaking of Meyer, guess what happened 5:05 into the second?
It was Timo time. Just not the right kind.
Yeah, gets his first NHL fight out of the way. I don't even know why you take that. I mean, against Pattern, dude, why? I mean, why the Wild are going to take that trade-off every single day? Why?
And that's the thing. They're trying to get underneath the skin, and it got to him. And that's the one thing that Timo's still got to learn a little bit, I think, is that he's got to make sure that he doesn't have these moments like he's had like when he was with the Barracuda and early on in his Sharks career, where they can get under his skin and he starts not exactly being, the smartest minded player out there.
Yeah. Where's the Simek sweater, bro? I'm working on it. All right, we're gonna take the stealth in and have it done. Okay, I've already made up my mind.
It's true. You're going Simek.
I'm going Simek because you know
really?
why? Yeah, you know why? I like to support a younger guy who's getting it done. I know Kane's going to be here for like the next 7 years, but I don't know. I'm just Kane, fine, not bad, not the most personable guy in the world. EK65, I don't know that he's going to be here a year from now.
That's a good point.
But Simek, I am really, really enjoying Simek's game. And the other thing, too, is that I don't have a lot of defensive sweaters. I got a Burns, I got a Dillon, I got a Vlasic. But, most of my stuff, as you can tell, are forwards. So it'd be nice to pick up a defenseman. And I dig Simek. Even though, how old is Simek? He's like 25?
I'll pull it up right now. I
Yeah.
believe he's 26.
26. Okay, so he might only be here for another 5 years, but either way, no, if he continues this, support the guy, man. I'm enjoying this game.
And as you should, because he got the secondary assist on the first goal of the game at 9:49. Logan Couture, his 12th, with a no-looker from Lukas Radim. I mean, whoa, where did that come from?
Dude, that was that was like somebody like it was like Thornton put a little out to lunch sign on his office door, and Radim like just snuck in and said, "Oh, okay, I got this." I mean, that was a very Thornton-esque pass.
Oh yes, very much so.
It was like, okay, so it took the Sharks about half a game to wake up. They started pouring it on. They had more because at this point you have to take into account too. The Wild had, I think, like 3 or 4 shots in almost the first 3 minutes of this game, or the first 3 minutes of the second, and then went like 15 minutes of the second without getting a shot on goal. So that's when the Sharks kind of took it over. And
you felt that too, where they kind of started getting the advantages and started really getting some chances. Like Goodrow had a nice chance coming down the wing. I thought, watch out, here it comes. But then 29 seconds after Logan gets going, Pavs gets on a breakaway, gets it from Hertl and Simek. Simek, 2 assist night, 10-18. Pavelski was dealing, and to quote the tweet from Jonathan Becker, he was dealing out a blackjack because it's his 21st of the season.
I'm just going to let that one go.
It was Becker.
All right. Okay.
He said it. Oh, jeez. Wow.
Oh, my God. Who the hell cares?
No, I'm kidding. No, I just love the idea where it's like Pavelski on a breakaway. Those are 2 words that you just don't hear very often whatsoever. But I mean, it was a top shelf snipe job, which to me was one of the reasons why they're having so many problems solving Dubnyk at the beginning. Is everything was low. They were not getting any elevation under the puck. The pass from Hertl to start this whole thing off is really what cinched it. But Hertl to Pavelski, that just this. I don't know what it is. Hertl is becoming that kind of Swiss Army knife. He can play some center. He does good stuff at the wing, but he can deke, but he can also lay out these ridiculous passes. I mean, you have to. Hertl's game to me is just coming really all around. I would like to see him get a couple more shots on goal. I feel like he should have at least 2 or 3 more goals than he has already, but I'm loving that. And then, of course, Simek getting his second helper of the night on that one.
Yeah, and really attesting to what Simek has been doing since was finally inserted into the lineup. And even his defensive play, I think Baker was pointing it out in the third, how he kind of he held up the Minnesota player long enough to not get interference, but he had position and the body and everything. So he's definitely getting some good defensive sense into it too.
Yeah. And I go back to the whole idea of the Sharks got some nice looks, but they really held the looks that the Wild got in the second. And then with just a minute 15 left in the second, Koivu would trip Hertl. So again, Hertl contributing by drawing a penalty. And while they won a couple of faceoffs to finish that, they had 1 or 2 decent looks, but it would be the start of the third, or I should say about 51 seconds into the third is where there was the difference.
And that difference would turn out to be the Logan Couture second goal in the night from Hertl and Carlson. AJ, this is what you would call the power play influenced goal.
Yes. 47 seconds left of time, scored at 51 seconds. And this sequence, this is why GIFs exist, people. So you can relive it over and over. The passing sequence from EK65 that gaining the zone, that gets to Hertl, that gets to Couture. Just what a passing sequence, man. That was stellar.
I'm pulling it up right now. Hang on.
It was amazing. And for those of you who aren't really sure what else is going on, we know that Winnipeg is coming up right now. Winnipeg has 6 shots on goal to the LA Kings 2 down in SoCal. So
There you go.
I'll throw that out there. But yes, here we go. This whole sequence was huge.
And it's this great passing there. I mean, here he is. Carlson has a little bit of a trip up. He was trying to get it to Hertl to the point, but then Hertl comes and supports him. Boom. Couture buries it. And that's what you like to see. They're starting to really gel now more than anything.
Yeah.
AJ, it just seems like they've just been going back and forth with this, and it's looking really, really promising.
Yeah, you didn't see that type of play in those first 20 games, and people are starting to know where the other guys are going to be. They're more comfortable. Again, I'm not going to get too excited or losing my lid over this because okay, so they've won 6 of their last 7 games. You look at, or I'm sorry, 7 of the last 8 now, right?
But they've won 5 in a row. Their longest streak of the year.
Yes. Okay. I will give you that. However, let's not get crazy. Okay. I ran this down. So we're talking, they've won 7 of their last 8. They won 5 in a row. Okay. But let's talk about the teams that they've beaten. Where's Minnesota in the Central? 5th?
Great question.
Yeah. See, so
Minnesota was dominating early on.
Big deal. So was Chicago. What happened there? So if memory serves, Minnesota's 5th.
Yeah, so, they're 3rd in the wild card right now.
Okay. So there is no 3rd in the wild card. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, if from the wild card standings.
If you designed the NHL, then they'd be 3rd. Okay. So Montreal, 4th. Essentially, I basically parse losses and overtime losses as essentially the same thing.
Right.
You still lost. All right. So you get a charity point, but still Montreal 4th in their division. And when I jotted this down like a game ago, 17-16. So 1 winning record by 1 game. Then Carolina, you're talking 14-18. 5th in their division, not a winning record. Dallas, 16-17, 5th in their division, not a winning record. Arizona, 14-18, 7th in their division, not a winning record. New Jersey, 11-20, 7th in their division, not a winning record. Back to Dallas, then Chicago, 10-25, bottom of their division. So while this is great,
right,
winning these games and getting the streak, and of course, winning begets winning, and it helps build up your confidence and everything like that. It's not like they ran Calgary, Winnipeg, and Nashville, 3 in a row. Then I'd be losing my mind a little bit. But so far, they're beating teams that they should beat. They're not playing down completely to the level of their competition. That Chicago game, the first 5 minutes or so, but go ahead.
But at the same time, 4 years ago, weren't we like boasting about how much we beat like Chicago twice in a week and everything? I mean,
exactly. You can't get too high, can't be too low, and calling me a wet blanket. F you, Jenna. Thursday, it's Sleepy saying, that's the whole thing. Thursday is a huge test. That's going to be a great litmus test. The fact of the matter is, Sharks are on the road tonight. Winnipeg's on the road tonight. It's going to be somewhat even. The Sharks are. Winnipeg, they're barely 10 minutes into the first period, where the Sharks will be on the plane probably before this period's even over. Yeah. So
one thing that Chris mentions, while I agree with AJ's point, don't forget they were getting stomped by terrible teams a month ago.
That's true.
Hell, even back in October when we got shut out by the Islanders and gave the Rangers their first win.
But they also beat Nashville twice when Nashville was the best in the league.
Exactly.
And there was another team that they beat. Who am I thinking of? That was like doing really well at the time. Oh, I thought there was like 3 times where we essentially faced the number 1 team in the league. There was Nashville twice. I would have swore there was one other one. I got to go get my notes wherever the hell they were.
Oh goodness!
We know they lost to Toronto.
You figure it out, and I'll go over the stats. Minnesota finishes up 26-25 on shots on goal. Sharks actually ends up winning the faceoff battle 52-48. There was only one power play in the entire game. Again, not many power plays with the Sharks in the last few weeks. They go 0 for 1, but of course 4 seconds later they score their third goal of the game. Hits 21-10 in favor of Minnesota, blocks 16-14 in favor of Minnesota, and small in the giveaways 3-2 in favor of San Jose. But Radim Simek, 2 assists on the night. Carlson with an assist. Lukas Radil, he gets the empty netter, but he had a 2-point night. Hertl with 2 assists. Of course, Couture with 2 goals on the evening.
Okay. I know what I was talking about.
Go for it.
Is that the Sharks came this close to beating Buffalo when they were on their 9-game win streak. They went to overtime. That's the one I was thinking of. So like they've played, solid teams solidly. And if you take into account too, that Buffalo one, that was, the Sharks are on the road, and it's not like the Sharks have a great history of doing well in Buffalo. So, I'm just taking into account all of that going on, and they had just gotten their asses handed to them by Vegas. So that was another one I thought was good. Did we finish out though for the third? I mean, Dubnyk gets yanked at 17:20. Radil gets the empty netter at 17:45. This, my friends, was a great bounce back from Martin Jones.
Big time. 26 saves on the night. He gets his first shutout of the season. Good on
PDB for slotting him back in there. Of course, if we talked about this after the Chicago game, Dell should have started the Chicago game. We all said it. Jones should have been nice and rested for this. Dubnyk had allowed no more than 2 goals allowed in the last 4 starts, and he, lets in 3 tonight. The Wild were 9-1-1 over their last 11 versus the Sharks at XL. That's huge. So, and then Radil and Simek have been plus or even ever since they've come in to play with the Sharks. I mean, those are great numbers. If anything, you're like banging on Vlasic's door going, wake up!
And I thought, they had a decent game themselves. Well, obviously they had a good game because they shut out the Wild, of course. But I thought everybody played well. Remember that goal mouth scramble? Carlson almost flips the puck out of the zone. Jones with a big stop. Jones had a few difficult stops on the night as well. So it wasn't an easy shutout for him, but that's a big one.
Let's get to the chat. A lot of people talking about will be interesting to see how Erik fare with Winnipeg on Thursday. Really, that was so. Are you sure Puckguy didn't write that?
Shut up.
And Beach Boy saying, when did Fair go to Winnipeg? No, it's the pun. Fact or fiction, Radil penciled in as a 4th line center for the rest of the season. I thought Goodrow was actually playing center. But so. Either way, is the 4th line for the rest of the season Radil, Goodrow, and Carlson? I mean, if they continue, you'd be an idiot not to continue with this, although that doesn't make life better for Rourke Chartier at this point.
Or Dylan Gambrell.
But Gambrell's getting a ton of play at the CUDA. So it's just Chartier, I don't know if they're going to start shuttling Suomela and, or bring up somebody for a week as kind of give them a spell. I could see, I don't know, Perron or Gambrell up with the big boys for a week and then go, just rotate them around. Assuming the Sharks stay hot with this lineup, does DW still make a trade at the deadline for a center? I mean, if you can find a guy like Fair, why wouldn't you? And if you've got the cash, I mean, this is kind of you've got Erik friggin' Carlson and Brent Burns and Joe Thor. It's not like you're not going to do everything you can for this to be the year. And as how many times has Doug Wilson said, that he's constantly looking until the trade deadline actually happens. He's just, constantly looking. Reed Lance's comment. Okay.
We just did.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. I think Gambrell will come up next year. Let him get his time with the CUDA, just like the bank and Timo. Completely agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Chartier becomes a trade trip trade chip factor fiction. Every piece is a trade chip depending on what the return is.
Right.
If someone were to come along and give you the exact piece you want and say, well, okay, I want Chartier and this guy, and if it's exactly the piece you want, then yeah, okay, you're gonna make a move. There's a lot of there's a lot of pieces that have been moved that when they were moved that. Do you remember? Go back to the way that Doug Wilson was flambéed when he dealt a first-round pick in Charlie Coyle and Devin Setaguchi and he was flambéed for making that move by most people. And then look what happens. It's like the pick. I forget the guy who the first round pick. I forget. He's got a really common name like Thompson or Smith or something, but he's done nothing. Charlie Coyle, serviceable. Devin Setaguchi, what? Lasted a couple more seasons, had some substance abuse problems. I mean, still a hell of a nice guy, but not somebody. Who do you want? Setaguchi in hindsight? Who would you rather have? Setaguchi and Coyle on your team or Brent Burns? I think we know what the answer is.
Well, it's the same thing. Like, would you want Wayne Primo, Marco Sturm, and Brad Stewart on your team? Or would you like to have one of the greatest assist leaders of all time?
Exactly. So, yeah, and Chris Singh, puck-moving defensemen are hard as hell to get and worth a lot. And you talk about puck-moving defensemen. Boy, if you shit can the first 20 games of this season, all of a sudden, Erik Karlsson looks like a phenomenal pick.
Oh.
I mean, like he's finally putting it together. It's starting to be the player we assumed he would be. And are you noticing that you're seeing Burns and Karlsson out there a bit more?
They're, especially tonight, I was like, wow, they are playing together, which is quite interesting to see. So, I just lost the thing, but I'm curious to see the time on ice.
Well, Karlsson is 24-12, Burns is 22-46, Simek 14-50. Now, it's not as if there was a ton of power play time tonight, guys. There was one power play. And let's also take into account, too, this is like the second. Let me pull up my notes here. This is the second in 4 games. And boy, this is one for Uncle Darren. Second time in 4 games. The Sharks haven't taken a penalty. They didn't take one against Dallas 3 games ago. Didn't take one tonight. When was the last time you saw that, Darren? Get on it.
Careful with calling out Uncle Darren.
No, but here's the funny part. I think that I don't know.
It's very rare.
It's very rare. And you know what? I'm sorry. That was just 2 games ago, right?
I thought so. Yeah,
it was 2. I'm sorry, not 3 games ago. 2 games ago. So. In 2 games or in 3 games played, they only took a penalty in 1 of them. You have to, oh my God, you got to respect that. The no penalty called. And then, hold on. Did I invert this? I just want to make sure that I didn't invert this. You say things for a minute.
I say things for a minute. I'll go into the chat here. Let's see. Yeah, the Beach Boys fan forever MLP. The line seems to be finally working out. Alex saying also didn't give up 3 goals. Yeah, definitely. In fact, like we said, Martin Jones's first shutout of the season. That was great. Marty T, no delay a game, no too many men.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I looked it up. I was correct. The Sharks didn't take a penalty against Dallas. They didn't take a penalty tonight. And what's funny, both those games, like I had said at the beginning, started off very similar. Not a lot of shots, very defense heavy. So when you're playing a game like that, I mean, that's one of the things that can spark the other team is if you take a lazy penalty. That was smart hockey by the Sharks early on. Not falling for that trap, not falling asleep and taking a lazy penalty. I mean, how many times did we bitch and piss and moan and complain the first 10 or 15 games of the season because they were taking lazy penalties like covering the puck or putting it over the glass, like silly delay of games. I thought it was friggin' Kevin LeBanc was getting his mail sent directly to the penalty box at that point.
Yeah. And again, Beach Boys fan asking, do you think this is the end of the season slump? Again, like AJ mentioned, the opponents that you had that you went up against, yes, it's great to win. However, beat Winnipeg on Thursday, and then you're going to see something that could be. But a lot of people saying EK65 looks a lot happier. To this, where I say AJ, so like half of the defensive unit definitely needs to go to a lot more basketball games, right?
Oh man, you're really gonna go there? You're really gonna go there? Where was Drake playing last night? I'd like to know. No, coming into tonight, the combined win percentage of those 7 teams that they'd face coming into the 43%. They'd only won 43% of their games. So again, you can't get too excited. I'm not trying to be the wet mop. Also looking at looks as the power play, because of going 0 for 1 tonight, would drop down to 33%. PK remains same at 86%. And remember, this is why do I keep going back 7 games? Why do I keep going back to Montreal? Remember, people, that was the game that Doug Wilson flew out for. That was when Doug Wilson had a private team meeting. PDB had a private meeting. That's when this turnaround. Jot that down on the calendar, people. That's the one you look at. What was that, like game 28, 27, somewhere in there?
I believe so.
And because remember, just before that, you had Logan Couture, being asked, what does it take? And he goes, well, it takes some time to gel. It doesn't take 26 games.
No, exactly. So, but they look like they're finally starting to gel. But again, this is where the test comes in Thursday. Kind of going into the chat here. My name is Fly. Are we glad they didn't start Staylock?
I am.
The curse of the backup goalie.
I'm damn happy about that. But again, I go back to the number. Oh, hello. The LA Kings are up 1-0 over Winnipeg with 5 left. Shots are even at 8, and Winnipeg just went on the power play. Winnipeg power play this season ranked 31%. They are first in the NHL. So
I smell a Line power play goal coming.
No.
Asking like a tiger, asking when do we face Tampa? Mike Nevis replied, "Nice January 5th for Owen Nolan bobblehead night."
Exactly. That's what.
Just a lot of people asking, about Vegas, the Leafs, and the Jets are teams that have a lot of speed and a lot of offense power that could really challenge the Sharks. And
yep.
You and me, AJ, have been saying this since the Cup final in 2006 or 2016, excuse me, that that's what's killed this team before, and hopefully that changes.
Speed kills.
Yes, indeed. Dallas about to beat Calgary. Well, if that's the case, then AJ, is it time?
Really? Okay. Well, just
really?
Because I was looking at Winnipeg and everything, I'm watching this, but yeah, all right, I'll give it to you.
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
It's wrap around, but thank you very much.
Wrap. Oh, damn, Chris. Wow. Okay. I'm just going to
speak.
I'm just gonna
wow.
let that go right here.
Yeah, we'll just leave that there. Ouch.
Ooh.
We have games in the NHL tonight, starting with the one that just ended. Dallas 2, Flames nothing. The Stars shut out the Flames. Jamie Benn and Radim Faksa with your goals on the evening for the Dallas Stars.
See, that's when I need the Nelson sampler from Simpsons.
Panthers.
Oh, dude,
down.
Speed doesn't kill. Suddenly stopping does.
Oh.
It's not the fall that kills you. It's the sudden stop at the end.
Panthers 5, Sabres 2. Barkov gets his 15th of the season. Dadonov gets 2 goals on the night to get the 16. Skinner gets his 25th in a losing effort for Buffalo.
Dude, is like Skinner like the only offense that Buffalo has at this point?
Eichel too.
Well,
right?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Every time it's because I was automatically referencing Skinner to Carolina. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, Skinner's just he's killing it, dude.
Right. In New Jersey, the Leafs 7, Devils 2. Tavares, San Ramon native Austin Matthews, Patrick Marleau with an historic goal to finish out a crazy first period for the Leafs. Marleau gets goal 544. He's now 30th all time in scoring and surpasses the Rocket Richard. No, not Rocket Backhander, but really quick, AJ, your thoughts as Patty is starting to move up on the top 30 in goal scoring.
Oh, you gotta love it. Didn't he? There was something happen. I know there was something that went on Twitter. What did he do today?
He passed the Maurice Rocket Richard.
Sorry, I have a lot of things going on in here. So if I didn't hear you, it's because, or if I didn't respond, it's because I didn't quite hear the question. But
Not a problem.
Yeah, got to give it up to Marleau, of course. Granted, he's Matthews, Marner, Tavares. I'm a little. That's an awful lot of firepower. I kind of expect like Marleau would be in double digits by now, but let's see where he's at. Everybody points to the last season, and what did he have? He had like 27 with the Sharks, but 4 of them came against Colorado. Right?
Yeah.
So let's see if Marleau hits 25 this season. I think you would expect them to hit 20, maybe 25.
Yeah, 20 I think is more realistic in my opinion. Rangers 3, Ducks 1. Thank you, Rangers. Nemestikov, Hayes, and Chidel with the goals there for the Rangers. Thank you for beating the Ducks in their beautiful third jerseys. Flyers 3, Red Wings 2. Carter Hart makes his NHL debut and gets the victory over the Red Wings.
Who's the coach?
That's a great question. Speaking of coaches on the hot seat, the guy that's filling in that took over for Coach Q gets a victory over Nashville. Blackhawks 2, Predators 1. Gustafsson with the game-winning goal in the middle of the second period proves to be the winner in Chicago. They get off of their rough streak after losing to the Sharks. And then, of course, go ahead.
And Rocket pointed it out that it's, Sharks just beat the Hawks, who just beat the Predators. It's a weird time to be a hockey fan, friends.
And Felix saying me Hertl. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Games in progress right now. Blues 2, Oilers 1. Jesse Puljujarvi with the goal for the Oilers. Yeah, I could say Puljujarvi with nothing, but I can't say Hertl. Perron and Tomas for the Blues as they are in the third period there. In Arizona, the Desert Dogs, who apparently have never lost on December 18th, are in trouble right now. They are down 3-1 to the Islanders. Hosang, Nelson, and Biolvier have goals for the Rangers. Kempe, the lone goal for the Coyotes. So they're in danger.
Look at the Islanders trying to put something together. They're so cute. They lost to Vargas, but the Islanders, dude, they if I remember correctly, didn't they slide by the Avs yesterday by 3-1 as well?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Thomas Grice, former Sharks, post-deal syndrome.
Yeah. Hey, AJ, do you know where Tampa's playing tonight?
Is Tampa playing tonight? Oh, Christ. Oh, good God, no.
Damn, that didn't work. The Canucks are down 2-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Kucherov and Paquette have the goals right now. That's in the middle of the second period. As AJ mentioned, Wagner with the goal for the Kings, his second on the season. They lead 1-0 against Winnipeg, and that's about to end into the first intermission.
Yeah, shots Winnipeg 11, LA Kings 9, and boom, period's over. So you guys can now go watch that as soon as we do this. I did see somebody bring up the name Cornash in the chat earlier. Good on you. Yes, I would love to see Cornash go against San Diego tomorrow night
in San Diego.
Yes.
So Chris Landy, if you're watching, Go ahead and go support your Barracuda in SD as they take on the Goals at what was it, 7:00?
Yes, sir. Man, there's an awful lot of hockey going on between now over like the
Right?
next 3 days. You've got
It's just like
CUDA at San Diego, then you've got Sharks in Winnipeg, then it's CUDA in versus the Roadrunners twice, plus the Sharks with LA back-to-backs, LA and Arizona. Oh man, that's an awful lot of. That explains why it's a 1:00 game versus the Kings, because the Roadrunners play the CUDA at 6 at the Tank.
And that's a teddy bear toss night, folks. So get your tickets, get your teddy bears to the Shark Tank 6 p.m. Get your tickets at sjbarracuda.com.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, AJ, let me ask you a question here.
Dude, the CUDA just they've like taken points in 10 straight games.
It's crazy. They've been on such a roll, and kudos to their team, and
kudos to Cornosh and Bebo. Holy cannoli. And that guy laid a save out the other day that, oh my Lord.
The question, to me is does that make like Jones or Dell expendable down the road? Because you have those two waiting in the wings.
Again, everybody's expendable for the right cost. Absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, and you know what? I'm kind of partial to Cornosh over Bebo. I think Cornosh, I don't know. He kind of, you know what it is it kind of reminds me a little bit Seattle. It's only because I keep seeing somebody mention Seattle in the chat. No, Coach Q is not going to Seattle ever. Anyway. No, Cornosh, it reminds me of like the early 2000s where Bebo is kind of Shields-esque in that he's a bigger guy, and he can maybe, I don't know, kind of overplay sometimes. He'll come up with some great saves, but sometimes he'll get burned for overplaying, where Cornosh reminds me of Nabby and being a little more precise in the movements. So I don't know. There's something, again, it's the, I'm going by the eye test and everything like that. I feel like Cornosh is, I don't know. He just seems like he might be a little more ready to play at this point. He just seems way, way comfortable out there. What are we looking at here?
Well, I'm just going to say Cornosh has been so awesome that, one day he might be an NHL All-Star. And just a reminder, folks, do you really want Connor McDavid to be the captain in San Jose for the Pacific Division? No, of course not. So make sure you there's plenty of Sharks on here to vote for as your NHL All-Star. Keep continuing to vote on that, in my opinion.
That's so super duper stupid. I mean, it should just be like fait accompli, like a representative from the hometown team. They're going to be a captain. I don't, it's like if you're playing the game in New York, then the Rangers are going to for the Metro, the captain of the Metro is going to be a Ranger. Just deal with it. It's part and parcel of the game. Yeah, if it's in Washington, sure, let it be Ovechkin. But like it should be the hometown. I mean, come on, you got to throw him a bone. It's one of the because I mean, geez, God, remember the good old days where like some teams didn't even deserve to have a player in there, but you'd get one just because every team had to be represented. Oy.
So my choices, as always, are Pavelski, Laine, Ovechkin, and of course Marleau for the Atlantic. Not going to happen, but hey, why not, right?
Well, just remember, you get to vote 10 obnoxious times for like 30 obnoxious days. Don't get me started on this. We'll never leave.
Well, then we'll just talk about, how you can be an ambassador for the NHL All-Star Weekend. That's AdecoUSA.com to check that out for definitely having fun with that and getting paid at the same time.
Notice I've let that go.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So, again, this is behind us. Great job. Great bounce back from Jones after that horrific start in Chicago. So we go on Winnipeg. That's going to be a obvious huge game again. It's basically the best team. Well, them and Tampa best team in the West coming to town. And again, they're playing LA right now. So both teams played tonight. You can't sit there and say, well, they were, they were sitting there waiting for us while they both played tonight. And then 5 games all against the Pacific to end this year, to end 2019 or 2018. Sorry, I'm thinking of the 18-19 season. But yeah, gotcha. To end 2018, that's talk to me on New Year's Eve, my friends, and let's see how excited we are. Because if the Sharks, if they take the next 6 games to finish out this season, which is, by the way, the halfway point. Game 41 is on New Year's Eve for the season. If they go, 5-1, 4-1-1 over these remaining 6, then I think it's time to kind of go, all right, now we're starting to put something together here. But when's the next? Oh, and then it is Calgary on New Year's. I mean, how huge is that game potentially going to be when you look at the records and where we are now?
Is that in Calgary?
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy. That's going to be a crazy one.
Yeah, we got 4 at home, Winnipeg, LA, Arizona, and Anaheim, and then at Edmonton and at Calgary. And then how jacked up is this? Well, I guess the boys are just going to have a good time up in Calgary for New Year's Eve, because then they play on the 2nd at Colorado. So, Beach Boys fan forever. I'll be at the Tank on Thursday. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yep. Which should be interesting. I will bring my computer for that game just to play it safe.
that's one I needed Rocket for. Are you going to be at the game? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you have that ready to go?
Again, I'm working out a new soundboard.
Okay.
So you'll afford me a little bit of patience on this.
You're good. You're good. Well, in case you missed anything, or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher. Go ahead.
The chat, they always ask us questions. I have a question for the chat.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Jeez.
Hey, now.
You can catch us everywhere at tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. Of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell all your friends. Give us a like. Don't follow Jessica Gaeta's path where she tries to dislike us out of jest. Just like us. Subscribe to us. Do your magic on our YouTube channel at Teal Town USA.
I feel like I missed something, but okay.
Oh, you didn't know it? Jessica's the one that's been doing the one dislike on our videos as a joke. I think that's what she said, right, chat?
That's just rude. Like, leave a comment. Like, be the one person that leaves a comment on every video, but to give us a thumbs down. I mean, holy cannoli.
Well, she's just having fun with it. I think that's all. Oh, geez, Sleepy Mofo.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but you tell him.
Sleepy Mofo saying, does Calgary have better Wi-Fi than Winnipeg? I'm not even going to go there, but wow. Felix, local media sure as hell ain't promoting the All-Star Weekend nearly as much as they should. Have you been a little surprised, even with the Sharks too, about the All-Star?
Why? What's the big deal? Where's the All-Star game this year?
It's here, buddy.
Walnut Creek?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. We're going to get the big... Yes. Another thing, single game Sharks tickets have no fees until 11:59 tonight, so jump on it.
Yeah, should there be a hell of a lot more promotion? Yeah, betcha. Do I think that they're going to ramp up the promotions once 2018 is in the books? Yes. I think it wouldn't surprise me that opening weekend versus Tampa Bay when they have the Nolan bobblehead. That first weekend is also going to have mystery pucks, superhero mystery pucks for the game against Tampa, and then following Monday against LA. Then you've got Tuesday. God damn, I'm going to a lot of hockey games in the beginning of January. So you've got those games. It wouldn't surprise me if those 3 consecutive games, because what is that? Yeah, it's Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. Somebody would be really, really foolish to not have the All-Star jerseys. At least, I'm not saying they have to be in the store.
They should be unveiled.
Yes, there should be an unveiling, and I'm just saying that game against, if you're going to hand out a bobblehead featuring a moment that happened in an all-star game in your barn, you might want to say, hey, that might also be a good time to unveil this year's all-star jerseys. Yeah. We shall see. Again, for the people that are trying to read things in the tea leaves that are not there, let me just be the one who kind of like puts the kibosh on this for like the end of all times. If you're looking at the schedule and you're going, oh, the Tampa game starts at 8:00 instead of 7:30. They must be going to retire Nolan's number, or there's going to be some all-star. No, it is none of those things. No. There is an event happening at the Tank earlier in the day because Levi Stadium is hosting the NCAA College Football Championship game, and they're using SAP to host an event earlier that day.
It's their media day for that one.
Yeah. So everybody, like, take a breath. Okay. that is not what is happening. College football media day happening at the Tank has nothing to do with hockey and the game starting at 8:00 versus Tampa. However, still would be a great time to unveil the 2019 All-Star jerseys. So with that, I think it's probably a good time to bounce and get out of here. We will catch you after the game versus the West Side Story game, as it will. Yeah, I should have had that logged on here. See, I need a little more time to prep is what the problem is.
Not a problem.
I'm AJ_Strong on Twitter and on Instagram, and occasionally throwing up some stuff on the Teal Town USA gram. The Pucknologists did not roll this week. It actually rolled, but we actually canned the episode, so it didn't work out quite what we were hoping for. So so we're gonna try again. See you at the Tank. What section will I be in? That's a great question, and if I knew I would tell you. I'm not sure. I can't remember if my tickets are on digital or a hard copy, but I will be in the building. And as always, we typically meet up at the Sharks Foundation kiosk near section 118 during first intermission. So I'll definitely be in that area.
Yeah. And if I do go, I will meet you there during first intermission. I am Puckguy14. You can follow me on the Twitter and Instagram under that name. We'll be back with you on what? Oh, yes, AJ.
We point out things from time to time. The one thing that we did not point out, I don't know if you've noticed back over my shoulder above the jersey, there is a Christmas ornament, a Sharks Christmas ornament.
And yes.
This Thursday, it's mystery, or you've heard of mystery pucks. This Thursday, it's mystery Christmas ornaments that are signed by the players. Looks to be 3 different versions. One that is similar to this, where it's a shark biting through a candy cane instead of a hockey stick. There's one where it's like a snowflake made out of hockey sticks, and then one that looks like it's specific to the Beard Brothers. So,
how much are those going for?
$30.
Okay, not bad. Same as the mystery puck.
Yep, everything that's mystery, I guess, this season is $30.
Sounds
mystery hat, mystery puck. If it has mystery, it's mystery somehow. Thirstery, 30 mystery. I don't know, somehow combine 30 and mystery, but there you go.
Thirstery. Okay, sure. All right. Well, we'll be back with you in some form. Following the Sharks and the Jets, we promise no musical interlude or anything like that during the show. But following the Sharks and Jets, we'll be on with Teal Town After Dark. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe down below. Check out tealtownusa.com. Felix is working on something. I'm sure it'll be up in the very near future. And until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. We'll see you Thursday night on Stealth Night.
Hey, I'm Brody Brazil, and welcome to Teal Town After Dark.